What's up, guys? Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing? Hope guys are doing well. Welcome. We're back at another one with I'm your host Juby the Tubi, and we're here with family above everything. Hosted. We're gonna be joined by Zenray with Zenray Sports TV. Salute to Nick Nation. Sorry about the light being so bright. Let me adjust that real quick. There we go. That's probably a little better. Hope you guys are doing good. Knicks lost. Another one tonight, guys. They lost by 3. They played 36 minutes phenomenally. But the first quarter is where they lost the game, in my opinion. But one good thing, they freed that man right behind me, Obi Toppin. He's the future power forward of this team, not Julius. It's going to be him and RJ. But I'll get to that in a second. Let's get my partner in here, see what he got to say. I know he's excited about tonight's game, but it's a hard one for me to swallow.
5 assists. And you notice that he's carrying the ball, bringing the ball up more because we have no point guard. Juby the Tubi, family above everything. What a disappointing loss, but I can say I am happy you just gave this effort and they finally kept the team under 100 points.
Good evening. Good evening. They played a solid 36 minutes of basketball, phenomenally team orientated basketball. I said it in my last few shows. They're like an old Camry in the winter. They need to warm the car up a little bit to get it going. And luckily, at the first quarter, I still had the garbage cans behind me, but I got rid of the garbage tonight. Tonight was Friday. I figured I'd get the garbage out, and they looked better. I was gonna keep it here, and just had a picture of this guy right here, who's the future of the Knicks. Besides R.J. Barrett, this man showed us tonight a glimpse of what he can do, and everybody better get ready. Julius, I'm sorry, my brother, but this guy behind me is the man. He's the future power forward of this team.
I agree. Look, I said it from the beginning. They have to find and accommodate him somehow. And if that's by getting rid of Randall, which I don't think it's going to happen, then be it. But Obi Toppin showed tonight that he can play the big time minutes, regardless if he was off from 3 point range. He was 1 for 5, but the whole Nick bench 1 for 5, 1 for 3, 1 for 5, and Toppings rose and quickly. They played a 9-man rotation, so the Knicks came up short, 3 points, and the ball didn't bounce their way. And toward the end, when Barrett took that last shot with 6 seconds left, I thought that he was fouled, but that's look. You're not going to get a call like that.
Not in Toronto, and not with .6 seconds
and
to
not the
go.
Knicks. The Knicks don't get calls like that.
Not the Knicks.
But look, the first quarter you give up 31 points. That's a no-no. That second quarter you gave up 28 points. The defense got better in that second half. They only give up 23 and 22. But the Knicks didn't score enough at the end. Evan Fournier was, 9 points. Burks, he killed us last night, this evening at 1 point. He didn't do much at all. He was 0 for 7 from the field and 0 for 3 from the 3-point range. That's where we lost the game. Burks is usually a solid contributor. And Burks played 37 minutes. If I had the crystal ball and I knew that was going to happen, I would have Rose or quickly have more playing time, obviously. But look, you don't have a crystal ball in front of you. Rose played 33 minutes.
It's a lot of minutes. That's a lot of minutes for him.
Yeah, it is a lot of minutes. But listen, when your shooting guard, point guard / point guard, only scores 1 point in that starting lineup, that's the difference of the game. You can blame Julius Randle. He had 3 crucial turnovers in that halftime, and look, that's typical Randle. Randle didn't play a great game. He had 13 points. So what else can we say, Juby? But the fact that Obi Toppin got the time he deserved, that was the highlight of the evening, and he played very well. The Knicks played defense tonight. They needed to catch up to do it. I like what I saw tonight. They lost, but I am happy with the overall performance.
I'm gonna keep it positive. You know what, Ray? I'm gonna get on your energy. I'm a little disappointed that they lost tonight. I thought that this one was kind of they were going to come back and it was going to be a great victory, but fortunately, that's not what happens. But the plus side is we saw R.J. Barrett play a good, decent game. We saw, like I said, Obi Toppin, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 24 minutes, played with a lot of energy. Did he shoot 1 for 5 from three? We spoke about it in the past. He's shooting 17% from 3 point range this season. That's going to come with time. Not everybody's going to have a good shooting game when they first come into the NBA. Just the fact that they utilized him today in the offense, he got his minutes. That Randall and Obi Toppin worked a couple of minutes. We didn't see Norris Noel a lot tonight or Mitchell Robinson for some reason because Obi Toppin was playing such a good game. And I think tonight, I know the coach might be a little upset that we lost this game, but I think coach has a lot of thinking to do tonight. And I think when he goes home and after he has his wine and sits down with the family and has a little bit of dinner, he's gonna evaluate the play of Obi Toppin and he's gonna say, you know what, I think it's time for me to let this guy cut loose a little bit because the guy, when you give him the minutes and you give him the time, he shows up and he played a phenomenal game.
I agree. Look, Barrett had 19 points. The Knicks lost for the sixth time in the past 8 games. That's never a good stat. Barrett, 3 with 2:48 remaining, brought the Knicks within 3 at 86-83. His driving shot on the next possession made it a 1-point game with 2:05 to go. But, you get killed by Trent Jr. He scored 24. Look, he was a high man for them. He played well. There was a couple of situations when the ball didn't bounce their way. They had quite a few rebounds. If you look at the stat line, I think that the Knicks lost that rebounding edge. I'll give you the stats right now. The Knicks, where they lost this game, and not it wasn't dominating per se, but if you look at the numbers, Knicks only had 18 assists. Toronto had 21.
You hit it right. You touched on exactly what I was just gonna say. I want you guys to remember to check this out. Fred Van Fleet, right?
Right.
Wanted a big, large money, and I know he wasn't the high man of their game, but it shows you when you have a decent, good point guard of a team. Look what he did: 17, 11, and 6. I rest my case.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the rebound, and the Knicks out rebounded them by 7, 55-48. I thought it was the other way around. But here is the points in the paint. Look, the Knicks won that category too. I thought they won 36-26. This is where the Knicks lost the game in turnovers. They had 15 turnovers. Toronto had 8. They converted 9. The Knicks converted 17 out of their 8 turnovers. I can't see the assist. If you look at these stats, wow! This game was closer than it was in terms of the stats as well. The Knicks were down by 20 at one point, and the Knicks' largest lead was 2. The Knicks shot from 3. This is where they got killed. I told you, the bench, when Rose, Topping, and Quickly combined for about 4 for 13 from 3-point range. 26% from 3, the Knicks, and they were shot 35% from the field.
That's where they lost.
This is where they lost. Toronto had 34% from 3. The Knicks out-rebounded them, so they came back in the rebound department. The Knicks only had 18 assists. They had 21. And that's... Look, if we had a point guard, like you just mentioned, a decent point guard, we win this game tonight. We're having problems. We're having Randall bring up the ball, and we don't have a true point guard. That's the resounding difference in this game. I don't know what to say. If you look at the numbers are very, very close. The Knicks hit more free throws than them. The Knicks shot 9 from 34 from threes. That's not good. And Toronto did 12 from 35. They had the edge there by 3 baskets. So there's the win right there. I say, look, the Knicks have to get a point guard somehow, some way. If the Knicks get a point guard, this is a different team, as you know.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, if we let we cut Obi loose. I don't know where coach is gonna go. To be honest with you, after tonight, guys. I know we had a defensive good game for 36 minutes, and we played great defensive basketball. But I gotta be honest with you, I really don't know where coach goes. I don't know if he's gonna continue with this lineup. I was watching a little bit of his post game. I didn't get to finish it. He kind of looked at a little flustered. A man who's getting a little bit to that point where he's gonna lose his cool, and I don't even know what to say about that. I honestly think how long do you continue with Alex Burke in the starting lineup with Evan Fournier producing what he's doing, and keep experimenting. I mean, Alex Burke, I think, is not doing a terrible job, but I think at the end of the day, Alex Burke needs to find himself back in that bench. He's a good scorer, but not to be a starter. I think Derrick Rose should be starting and finishing, and then in between you can give some minutes to Quickly and Alex Burke and McBride if you want. But I think Derrick Rose should be the starting point guard right now. And as far as Evan Fournier, I don't even know what to say about that, man, because
Now you're
it's
gonna have to let him be there. Obviously, we mentioned this 19 million reasons, and
yeah.
we were talking about Rose starting in that lineup. You put Rose in that lineup, it's gonna make a difference. And I'm gonna throw something I threw to you a couple of shows back. Remember, it's time for Deuce coming off that bench. But if you give Deuce that backup role, somebody's gonna lose minutes on that. Probably between Burks and Quickly. I don't know how you're gonna handle that as coach, but you have to bring a true point guard coming off that bench. You have to. Rose is your only true point guard, and you see it when he's there. He's a difference maker. By us not having a true point guard, I think if you can't make a trade to get someone here, you have someone who's lighting the G League up. Bring on Deuce. Why not as a backup? Bring him in certain situations and split it up with Burks coming off the bench.
Problem is that coach is he's very loyal to his veterans. So I think Derrick Rose will get the start, and I think Alex Burks and Quickly would be the backups. I don't think he would call up McBride, even though I agree with you. I think it should be McBride and Quickly instead of Alex Burke. But knowing coach's old habits and how he's so loyal to his veterans, I don't think we'll be seeing McBride too much this season, unless we go 15 to 20 games, 500, and there's no salvaging this season. But Derrick Rose injected that bench. All season, the bench has been good, but the starters have been having a problem. Why not experiment just for 1 or 2 games? Take Derrick Rose and see if he injects some life into that starting unit and gets them to play team-oriented basketball, which they played pretty decently tonight. And I know everybody likes that Derrick Rose and R.J. Barrett and Obi Toppin. Everybody likes that quick young lineup. But Derrick Rose, I think, needs to be starting. He's the best point guard on this team, hands down. He's the veteran. He's the one-time MVP, one-time All-Star leader. And that man should be the starting point guard right now until we figure out something, whether it's to bring up McBride, like you said, and maybe experiment with him with heavy minutes, or go out and get another young point guard.
Well, it doesn't have to be a young point guard. You need a point guard in general.
Either the guy from Indiana we were talking about the other day.
If you can get Brogdon. You can if you can get Lillard. At this point, if you can try to get even a John Wall just as a backup with Rose, but that's crazy money you're gonna get. So John Wall is definitely out of the question at this poor juncture.
He's owed $95 million. I would not touch that man with the mayor's money.
Yeah, you're right. Look, if he was getting paid, if there's any way to eat half or 3/4 of that contract and you get him in here, I would do it as a backup, and just bring him in here. It's just the same thing with the Kemba. You're just throwing the dice, But at this juncture, Deuce McBride is the man that should be coming off the bench as your second point guard behind Derrick Rose. That's how you're going to resolve this thing. And what you do, instead of going 9-man rotation, by bringing in McBride, you increase that into a 10-man rotation, giving Grimes and him splitting up the time. In terms when
Well,
Grimes comes in
we
28
didn't we didn't see a Grimes sighting tonight.
not at all.
We're still not seeing a Jericho Sims sighting. What's up, Versace? Salute to you. Thank you, my brother, for stopping into the chat. But I don't get it. Like I said, I'm still baffled. I understand you got to start cutting your rotation down, but normally you cut your rotate. This is what I don't understand. Normally you cut your rotation down. Veteran coaches like Pat Riley, Jeff Van Gundy, and Popovich, all the greats, always cut their rotation down right before the playoffs. They experiment for those 82 games. They go with a 9 to 10 man rotation or whatever, and then come playoff time, they cut that down to 8 man rotation normally, unless their bench is super deep like what we have. So I don't really understand why he's cutting his bench so short right now. I think Grimes should be getting some playing time, especially because our defense, with the exception of the last 3 quarters, has been abysmal. I think Quentin Grimes should be getting minutes. I think McBride should be finally called up, like you said, and given the opportunity to showcase his talent because he's playing phenomenally down in the G League. Him and the other guy are just lighting it up down there. And I know we don't have room for the other guy. Leave him there, stashed until we can do something with it. Either it's move him or we get rid of some pieces and maybe we give him an opportunity. But we're in desperate need of a point guard, and maybe it's time for Deuce to come up.
At this juncture, you have nothing to lose. But if you look at the starters for Toronto, you can see how a point guard makes a difference because everybody on that starting unit, it's a plus. And it starts with Fred Van Vliet. You said it. You hit it right on the head. The guy was 5 from 5 from the free throw line, 4 for 11 from 3-point range, 4 from 13 from the field in 30 minutes of play. He was a plus 13. He had 17 points. He had 11 assists. He had 3 steals, 1 block shot, and he had 6 rebounds.
It shows you.
See, you look at those numbers; they look modest in terms of points, but he does more than points. He 11 assists. When is the last Knick that got more than 10 assists?
Rose.
Probably okay. Last year.
Yeah, that's it. Before that, I have not seen it, and I can't even tell you who.
Look, at this juncture, the Knicks outscored their bench, obviously. But when you have Gary Trent Jr., the shooting guard, scoring 24, Van Vliet 17, Scotty Barnes 12, and Scotty Barnes had 15 rebounds. And then you had Boucher 14 points, their power forward, and they had Siakam 13 points. They played a very good collective team. A team like that is solid. These teams like this, at the end, when there's close games, when you have a point guard, that's the deciding factor, and that's how they win close games like that because you have a general out there. We don't have a general. We're still looking for. We have a private running the show, And I'm sorry to call, Burks a private because he's a private because he has no point guard experience. So that's on Tibbs, man. And he was 0 for 7. I mean, you knew he wasn't shooting well, but I guess he had Burks there for his defense. But look at the Knicks lineup, -10, -12, -1, -12, -9. And it's because you don't have a general out there. Now, we always speak about the guy from Phoenix and the point guard, how he turned around the team. Look, if we would have had a point guard like that on this team would be such a different unit. Imagine him starting, and you have Rose coming off the bench.
That would be a beautiful dream. But I will tell you this topic that I'm gonna briefly mention. You almost made my night last night with that late text message, Ray. I'm gonna tell you, I was half asleep when you sent me that message. And I'm reading it half asleep, and you practically woke me up out of my sleep because I thought it already was done, a done deal.
My dream.
This guy sent me a diamond in the rough, if you will, sending me a text that the Knicks would trade Kemba Walker for DeAndre Fox from Sacramento. And when I saw that, I was just like, "There's the answer to my prayers. That's what we need."
But it was more involved in that. I think it was like players involved
Yeah, it
and
was
two
Kevin Knox, of draft picks, and I think Nerlens
Robinson
Noel, right? Or no, or Mitchell Robinson.
and well, right. He was in that trade, and they were getting two number one picks, one this year, one next year.
Listen, where do I sign? That Miles Turner trade rumor is heating up. I know we're desperately for a point guard. I don't know where Miles Turner would fit with Julius, Obi, and Miles Turner. Miles Turner is a big man.
You could put him
So
as a center. You play center and power forward. I would put him as a center, and then you have room to trade Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson has a contract
Well,
coming
I
up
think I
soon.
think they would want Mitchell Robinson. To truthfully speaking, if they was to give up give Miles Turner, I think they would want Mitchell Robinson, and a couple other pieces for Turner. That's why I really don't know,
No,
if I would.
they're gonna ask for Obi too as well. You know
Nah,
that.
nah. Don't leave my guy Obi alone. Julius Randle, man. Like I said, no.
I
Obi
would do
Toppin is the
that.
guy.
Would you do Miles Turner straight up for Julius Randle?
Even
Even swap.
even yeah. If you ask me for Julius and some draft picks and all that, no, that's too much.
Even
I
up.
even up straight 1v1.
I don't think they'll do it.
I don't think they'll do it. I would do it just because that frees up Obi Toppin into my starting lineup probably.
Imagine
Um,
Obi. Ooh, Miles Turner. Ooh.
so
Ouch.
I want to give them what's his name? Evan Fournier. Take him. Give me Doug McDermott.
Man,
I'll take
nobody.
Doug McDermott as my starting shooting guard right now over Evan
Fournier
Fournier.
is going to be here for a while. Randall has more value for the money he's getting. Fournier hasn't proven that he deserves that contract with a lot of teams. I don't think Fournier. I think Fournier is not bad. I think the problem with Fournier is when you don't have a point guard that can distribute the ball appropriately and know where you're at. That's the problem with this team. I bet you Fournier with the Toronto Raptors, he would score 15 or 20 points a game.
Listen, Evan Fournier is if you all you old heads out there, Evan Fournier is the Hubert Davis of the New York Knicks. He's
No,
not the Allen Houston, the John Starks. He's the Doug Christie. Now, I'm not even no, I'm not even gonna disrespect him and say Doug Christie, but I'm gonna say Hubert Davis. He was a good, solid player. You know what I mean? But he wasn't really somebody that you would sit there and be like, oh my god, he's incredible. He was just a filler, a good filler, a good spot, a Steve Novak with more. That's what I vision Evan
let me
Fournier.
tell you how Najiri for the Toronto Raptors draft so well. So Trent Jr. is a shooting guard, and you were talking about Fournier. Now he was drafted back in 19. He was drafted back in 2018. 6'5", 209 pounds, out of Duke.
Hmm.
Okay, so he's 22 years of age, and Gary Trent Jr. because he has a point guard that finds him up in his nice spot, and that's the reason. Now, you think if Gary Trent Jr. was on the Knicks, he would be doing what he's doing with Toronto? It
No.
all starts with a point guard.
Yeah.
It all starts with a point guard because Gary Trent Jr. is averaging 16 points a game, 3.3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and if you compare him to Fournier, if you look at his numbers, and he's averaging 12.8, 2 points. So without a point guard, he's averaging almost 13 points a game. Gary Trent Jr. is averaging 16 points a game. Look, it is what it is. I mean, Evan Fournier is 29 years of age. You're stuck with him for another 3 years after this. I think there's some kind of on the last year you have an option. So that's where the Knicks can get out of it. I don't know. At this juncture, I'm gonna continue saying we need a point guard. That's a problem. You know that as well, Juby. The point
Yeah.
guard is the Achilles heel for the Knicks, and it's always been for the last how many years. It's always been a point guard situation. I don't understand how we don't get this right. I mean, geez. I mean, we started it with Rose. We drafted McBride. I think he's our future. We have some nice players. Too bad we don't have a general. Chris Paul, come back. Come on, let's negotiate, man. Let's get Chris Paul. Yeah.
Fox, make that happen. Bring me
Yeah,
Fox from
yeah,
Sacramento. That's
yeah.
that's 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 my future general. I
He's a
mean,
floor general.
that's what I would take.
He's a floor general. So the Knicks lose tonight in a very, very close contest. The Knicks could have taken the lead at the end or tied the game up, but unfortunately, um, you know, Barrett with 6 seconds left missed the shot, and the Knicks lose 90-87.
Now we got Milwaukee on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, we
We
have a
got we
tough
got we, we got Giannis in a matinee. I think it's a 12 o'clock start or 1 o'clock start.
Sunday. Yeah,
Uh,
12 noon start.
we got Giannis coming into town, and and they got a decent point guard and they got a decent team, and we'll see what happens, guys. I mean, maybe we can still come up. We can continue with this play from these last 3 quarters and come into the first quarter on Sunday.
Right.
But if we come out like we came out in that first quarter today, expect that traffic. If you want to leave early, maybe get a good beat the traffic home because it's gonna be a long day if they come out flat like they did in that first quarter.
I agree. Look, at this juncture, if the Knicks go into the All-Star break under 500, expect the Knicks to make some moves or be starting McBride off the bench and starting Rose and bringing McBride off the bench. You have to solidify this point guard situation. Either trade or starting Rose, like we mentioned, and having McBride coming off the bench.
Agreed.
Right now, we're 12 and 14 as the Toronto Raptors evened up their record like the Knicks 12 and 14. So we're not totally out of it. It's not the end of the world. We haven't made our run yet, but you can't make a run when you don't have a leader, a general that runs this floor. And without that, the Knicks are going to continue losing these close games, and at times they're going to look like they're out of the game. So, Juby, the Knicks have a nice team. We have no general. You have no general. You're not going to get the Evan Fourniers. You're not going to get the Julius Randles and the Barretts to consistently put up numbers when you have no general setting up these players. That has always been the key. If you don't have a general in your army, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose the war. And the Knicks are losing not only the battle, but it looks like they're losing the war.
They are, and it's if they don't do anything, they're hoping that it comes together and it gels together. But I still think something needs to happen, whether it's Rose or McBride or outsourcing, getting another guard. But something needs to happen because if this continues we continue with the same lineup into around All-Star game, it's gonna be early winter for us, early summer for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm going to give you a little update of our future point guard. We'll make that trade for Sacramento. Sacramento loses tonight in a close game, 124-123, and hopefully our future point guard Fox in 34 minutes of play was 11 for 17 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 8 from 10 from the field, had 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and had 31 points.
Sacramento, you want Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson and 2 number ones? Where do I take them?
31 points. When is the last time our point guard scored 31 points? I can't even remember that.
Stephon Marbury days.
Yeah,
Stephon Marbury days.
Oh my gosh, 31 points tonight. 11 for 17 from the field. He didn't shoot the 3 very well. He was 8 from 10 from the free throw line. Had 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals.
How many picks above did he get picked before us? When they drafted him, it was like 3 picks, right?
Every time we're short. So he was drafted back from Kentucky, 2017, first round. He was a 5th pick. I think Knicks were the 7th or 8th pick that year again. So we're three picks away from
Steph Curry all over again.
He's 23 years of age. Oh my gosh. You get a guy like that. He's a gem. So he's averaging 20 points a game, almost 4 rebounds and 6 assists a game. Have to get a guy like this.
And he's
This
doing
is
that. He's doing that on a bad team as far as the assists. Now put a RJ Batter on him, Obi Toppin with him, and all these other young guys. Oh my God, sky's the limit with that guy running the show.
yeah. They lost their 15th game. They're 11-15. They're going to be asking for a lot, but I'll give them some draft picks because look, these picks are we're going to be getting. I don't know. I mean, you have to wait for the develop. Tibbs is not patient, so these draft picks to us right now is like worthless because if Tibbs don't play the young guys,
What's the
it's
point?
going to take a while, and by the time Tibbs get these guys developed, he's going to be out of a contract, and who knows if the Knicks will resign Tibbs? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But he's in his second year of a 5-year contract, so he has 3 years left. So with that said, Juby, I have nothing to say unless you want to mention anything else that's on your mind.
No,
Brooklyn beat
it's just
Brooklyn beat Atlanta this evening. So
Brooklyn won again tonight.
yep, they beat Atlanta 113-105. Kevin Durant 31 points. Harden had 20. Aldridge had 15, and off the bench, Brown had 15.
Hmm.
And look, this is a solid team, and that's without Kyrie Irving. So that's
Yeah,
a team to be.
I think Kyrie Irving's basketball days in Brooklyn are numbered. I think we'll either see a trade either by trading deadline or the offseason, and he'll go somewhere else. I
Well,
don't think he'll be back.
this new mayor in New York is supposed to be coming into office January 1st, and they're saying the rumors are they won't be mandating the vaccine supposedly. So maybe that's his way out. I don't know, but that's his only hope. If that does not happen, he's definitely going to be traded. So, and I see that happening. He's a very talented player. I could see him going to a Dallas. Putting
And
his
then
point.
I'm hearing Ben Simmons trade is almost done. And if I
Going
hear the rumors, are right, watch out. I think the Lakers just got big, and they're about to get Ben Simmons. You heard it here first. It's should be done by Monday. Ben Simmons is on his way out of Philadelphia, and that should be taken care of by Monday.
Do you know the players involved in this trade?
No, it's just a bunch of speculations right now. I was hearing a bunch of teams, but I heard, of course, the Lakers are very, very much in it and are going to be very close in it as well.
All right, so it'll be interesting news coming up. So, Juby, thanks for joining us in this semi-sad night. I mean, at least the Knicks kept their opponent under 100 points.
And Obi Toppin's coming out party, so it was good.
Yeah, that was impressive. So the Knicks lose tonight, 90-87. They fall down to a 12-14 record, and the Knicks will be playing at Milwaukee, or they're playing at the Garden.
Garden, I think.
Yep, they're playing at the Garden at a 12 noon start on Sunday. So we'll be on sometime that evening or after the game. We don't know at this point, so watch out for us. Juby the Tubi family above everything, and at Zen Ray Sports TV. With that said, let the universe enlighten the Knicks and Juby and myself, knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude. So, Juby, thank you. Have a good night.
You too, my brother. Let's go, New York. I know it's a tough one, but bing bang. Don't worry, we'll be back. I'll catch you guys later. Later, brother.
Good night. Good night, brother.
All right, guys. That was Zen Ray with Zen Ray Sports TV. Listen, the Knicks lost tonight. It was a tough one. Unfortunately, we'll see what happens. They got Giannis coming into the Garden at a matinee, and should be exciting. Hopefully, they show up, and we get a dub, or maybe some moves come. But I'll keep you posted as usual. Anything I hear, any NBA news that comes out, either I'll do a live stream or I'll do a little short video. Also, I just started streaming back again on this channel for some other content. If you're into watching, games like, Call of Duty and Apex and Warzone, they just received a new map. I'm going to be streaming on here. So if you want to check that out, that's something I do with my little crew. So you're definitely welcome to come by and stick around and check it out. But with that being said, guys, this is Juby the Tubi. And as always, family above everything. Stay safe, guys. Peace.
We are the New York Knicks. We We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. We're back on track, here we come. League is starting 21 and the Knicks are on a run. And I'll tell you with Tibbs, we a bit too much to handle. With Barrett, Bullock, Burst, and Randall, it's the Knicks and we're taking back our place. Everyone's gearing up with a mask on the face. The Garden's going crazy and they're doing it for a reason. 21 is the Knickerbocker season. You better believe the Knicks got all that it takes. We're shooting 3-pointers and we're running fast breaks. And if your defense makes a mistake, then bam! Robbie Duncan's in your face. This is a team you don't wanna miss. We are New York. We are the New York Knicks. Go